Well, hello there. I'm back. Talking Tennis is still going. Are you ready for some more Polish heroics? Ladies and gentlemen, Hubert Hurkacz is taking on Novak Djokovic on centre court at Wimbledon, and they are warming up right now. I'm still pumped from those two women's matches. Can you tell? Tom and Isabelle are going to be joining me at some point. They've just got to recover, get their breath back from everything, and they're probably still on the other stream. But yeah, by all means, come and join. I know we don't have anyone here yet, but by all means, get in the comments and let me know what you think. Novak Djokovic against Hubert Hurkacz. It's going to be an interesting one, I think. Just going to sort some things out, but there we go, Novak Djokovic. Yeah, this should be interesting. I'm not expecting this to be straightforward, to be honest. I know this may sound that may sound odd, but yeah, genuinely don't think that this is going to be straightforward for Djokovic. Although Ghost clearly disagrees because he thinks it's going to be Djokovic in straight sets. I mean, the last time these two played at Wimbledon, Hurkacz took a set off him, and Hurkacz has a habit of making things close. He's not had a serve broken yet. And if the previous match is anything to judge, given that Bencic had I think it was like 23 consecutive serves, like service holds before playing, which ran into the second set against Świątek. I think Djokovic might be having some trouble breaking this. Stats just flashed up on the screen. This is Djokovic's 100th match at Wimbledon in singles. Only two other men have crossed the 100 mark, Roger Federer and Jimmy Connors. Obviously two players with incredible longevity in their careers and at the top of their game well into their 30s. And Djokovic looks to be emulating that. So yeah, I think if you want my pre-match prediction, it's going to be Djokovic in 4. Ghost, I bet you were a fan of Jimmy Connors. I think you seem like the kind of guy who would have liked Jimmy Connors back in the day. I think, I mean, I need to go back and watch more 80s matches. I probably would have been, back in the 80s, probably more of a Borg fan and then maybe an Edberg fan. But I haven't actually watched an Edberg match, so that's just based on their personalities. So I'd probably have to work that out. Having said that, Connors in 1991 would definitely have been rooting for that match. Oh, Djokovic is underway. Hurkacz is serving first. So I guess let's get that going. But yeah, definitely would have rooted for Connors in 91. I like seeing people doing well later on in their careers, and it would have been absolutely magnificent. Okay, sorry, bear with me one moment. Seems to be some technical issues here, but here we go. There we go. Right, so looks like the score's slightly ahead of me by a fair bit, actually, to be honest. So I think what I'll probably do then is I'm going to take this off and then we'll put it back on for anyone who wants to come. But I think my stream is a little behind, so bear with me. I'm just going to update as I see it rather than anything else, rather than going with something else. So as Hurkacz is serving at 40-15 on my screen, so we already know he's won the first game. Which is fair enough. So they're just changing ends from my perspective now. So Hurkacz 1, Djokovic 0, but Djokovic is serving. Yeah, so you'll have to put up with the low tech solution for now until we get someone with a stream is slightly further ahead. But yeah, Hurkacz and Djokovic. Yeah, should be interesting. I think Hurkacz has held pretty well to start off with. I think we're in for an interesting one. Hello, 5 people who's in. I agree, Ghosty. I think there's a good opportunity for Hubie. Hubie's passing of his agility to cause some problems. And we know Hubie is not afraid of doing a bit of serve and volley, which is risky against Djokovic because we know his passing shots are that good. We will have to see. Right, let's stretch off the old commentary muscles. And let's go. So Djokovic serves a unreturnable. And it has to be said, the Djokovic serve is also pretty impressive. Since he's got Hurkacz on his team, his spot surfing has been incredible the last few years. So much as I'm going to make much we're going to make about the Hubert Hurkacz serve, the Djokovic serve is a beast in itself. And Djokovic has got a forehand cross court. He's had a first serve in. He's moving Hurkacz around, goes back behind with the backhand. Hurkacz has the forehand, backhand. Djokovic up the line. Hurkacz cross court. They're trading cross court forehands now. Hurkacz tries to pick it up, but just wide. It was a tricky shot, and it just misses the tram line. It's 30-love to Novak Djokovic. Pretty good start for the Serb. Pretty good start for the Serb. Yeah, I think I don't know if it's underrated. It's just not talked about enough outside of sort of hardcore tennis fans know what they're talking about. But yeah, nowadays, as Djokovic, talking about his serve is just aced. So that's pretty good. So at the minute, Ghost, you're my co-commentator, which should be fun. So we're all good there. As Djokovic into a rally, picks up a forehand, puts it cross court. I think either that was over the baseline from Hurkacz or that forehand was just too good from Djokovic. Either way, he's won the point and the game, and it's 1-all. At least from my perspective. Apologies to those of you who are probably way ahead and probably already know what's happened. But I'm going to narrate for the benefit of those who maybe don't have a stream to watch. Another great serve from Hurkacz to start off with, as he's serving at 1-all in this opening game. Of course, the big question is, will this match finish tonight? Will this match finish tonight? Because obviously there's the 11 p.m. curfew. Djokovic is going to need to get this done in straight sets. And it's going to need to be very similar to how the Stamp of Rinka match going. Ghost, I don't mean literally. I know that you can be a little bit of a loose cannon, a sort of a James Hunt, if you will, of the tennis commentary world. Let me know if you don't know who James Hunt is, and I'll go into that. But yeah, you can be my co-commentator and stay in the chat, and I'll just I can moderate anything that you might say, especially if it's anti-royalist. Although having said that, I don't think I'm particularly swayed one way or the other on the subject. I think Tom and Isabelle will join at some point, but I'll keep us informed as well. Hurkacz coming into net to try and hit a volley winner, but he loops it over the baseline. It's 40-30, complicating life for himself a little bit. Hubert Hurkacz is now getting ready to go. Yeah, he's definitely picking things up in the slams this year, which is interesting. Interesting given he always had the opposite season last year. Great on the rest of the tour and not performing in the slams. This year, obviously, he's got a couple of fourth rounds under his belt. He's got a nice volley there to finish off, and they go into a change of ends. Hurkacz is held. James Hunt was a British racing driver. So he was in Formula One. Won the Formula One World Championship in 1976 and then retired in 1979 to become a commentator, which he did until he died in 1993, which was very sad circumstances, given he was his lifestyle caught up to him essentially. But he was kind of notorious as a commentator for maybe a couple of times on live saying some things he shouldn't. The most famous example was his co-commentator said, "Oh, I've heard this driver is having this issue because of this reason," and James Hunt responded live on air. And all I can say to that is, I'm not going to say what he said because it was I'll get demonetized. But I believe the the acronym for it is BS. So there you go. That's kind of your loose cannon commentators, a little bit of the man had no filter. But yeah, James Hunt, probably your kind of guy, Ghosty, to be fair. If you watch the movie Rush, then you get an idea of what he was like. He's played by Chris Hemsworth in that movie. Very much the sort of party man of the 1970s kind of guy. So yeah, have a Google. I think definitely he's your kind of person, Ghosty. Right, change events done. Let's get from classic Formula One onto the tennis that's happening right now as Djokovic serves an ace. Great job from Djokovic so far. Yeah, so far going with serve. Hey, look, if this is serve dominant, they shouldn't have to worry about the cut. Shouldn't have to worry about the curfew, I don't think. As Hurkacz gets a forehand into play, forehand from Djokovic, slice from Hurkacz looped up. Djokovic hits up the line, Hurkacz forehand long, and it's going to be the Hurkacz forehand that's going to let him down because that side breaks down a lot. Probably doesn't have as much on it compared to others of his peers forehand wise. Djokovic is now is going to be serving at 30 love, at least on my screen, and Hurkacz gets it into play despite being a first serve, but the +1 cross-court backhand from Djokovic is way too good. And it's now 40 love. Brilliant +1 cross-court backhand winner from Djokovic, showing yet again why he is one of the best players in history. As he gets the first serve in play, Hurkacz's response is wide, and it's game to Djokovic. Yeah, I can imagine you being a Jeremy Clarkson person, Ghosty. Matthew, right to hear booing Vika left the court. Yeah, that wasn't on. I think people got a little bit caught up in the politics of it all. But yeah, Vika doesn't deserve to be booed at all. Thank you for the like, Talking Tennis. John, thank you for the like, John. Yeah, definitely an exhilarating match for that. And I enjoyed seeing the finale of that. I was mainly focused on the Swiatek-Bencic match. Have to say, both matches were really, really good. And it was hard to follow both. But yeah, I need to update the score. John, if you're wondering why I'm not showing my screen, it's because my stream is way behind the live score. So I'm waiting for someone to join so that I can share it again, and I can then sort of tell you what I think, not as live. Yeah, agree with you, Ghost. That's glad Svitolina's back. I think this is the best I've seen her play in ages. Absolute ages. I think probably not since 2019, when she was reaching semi-finals and slams. Even then, I think actually she was probably playing her best in sort of 2017, 2018. And yeah, definitely great to see her back and playing well. She looks very motivated. Can she beat Iga? I think she's stubborn enough to try. I think she's got great defense. We saw how Bencic's defense kept it in the game. It kept it in that match. And, Svitolina is one of the best at that, turning in defense into attack. I think Iga could probably hit through Svitolina, though. But it's on grass. We'll have to see. I think it's very clear from the Bencic match that Iga's shots are not as effective on grass as they are everywhere else. As a great volley from Hurkacz means he holds that game and is very much going with serve right now. They are in a change of ends. So yeah, can Svitolina beat Iga? Yes. Am I predicting it? No. But I said the same thing about Bencic, and Bencic darn well nearly beat Iga. So we'll have to see on that one. I'm predicting it's going to be a fun match. I think there's going to be a lot of respect between the two of them. And I think Ukraine's probably going to get celebrated during that match. I don't know whether to be looking forward to this or dreading this, John. but we'll give it a go. By the way, if you're new to the channel, like and subscribe, and follow us. Follow us on Twitter or Facebook. I know there's probably a few people on Facebook at the minute, on YouTube, but yeah, come and join, get in the chat. Like Ghost and I are having a lovely chat at the minute, but there's room for more people, for whoever wants to join us during this match. Ghost seems to have found his new hero already, with James Hunt, which is great to see. Yeah, go watch Rush. You might like that film. Would Hubie take a tiebreak in every set if it was offered now? No, because I think he quite liked the opportunity to try and break the Djokovic serve. And also Djokovic in tie breaks is an absolute beast. So I would say probably not. At the minute, it's not massively physically taxing. So let's see what Djokovic does. Yeah. As I might be about to welcome someone else on the stream, just need to give them to give me a thumbs up to say when they're ready. Brilliant. Welcome back to live on YouTube and Twitch. This is Tom Grant. Hello.
Hey, hi, Nick, mate. How you doing? Sorry,
right.
I left you on your Todd, as we say up here, because I had to go and get some lunch after the kind of marathon matches that we had on Send. It's been a fun day, hasn't it?
It has been a brilliant day, absolutely brilliant day. So many great stories. With we started with Mira Andreeva going through, and then it was great, like great performance for Andreeva. That wonderful 5-setter between Rublev and Bublik, and then those two awesome women's matches. I can't believe they're at the same time. I was more focused on the Iga Bencic match. I did need some time to recover from that. But the Azarenka Svitolina conclusion was also epic. So I'm not surprised you needed some time to go and recover and grab some food. And very impressed with you joining us.
Well, no, listen, it's good to catch up with you. But Ghost, as always, a mainstay. He's on this more than I. No, I mean, it had that feeling just towards the end there. It was if, don't know if you remember, like Super Saturday in the Olympics, just like everything was going on and these two matches and the way that things were happening. One match was playing at the exact same time. I mean, the Swiatek Bencic match started 40 minutes before the Azarenka match, but that one had then basically overtook it, and then the Swiatek one made its way back, so Isabelle was watching that, watching Svitolina Azarenka, and I was kind of focusing on Swiatek, and then we flipped back over to the Svitolina. It's just, I mean, obviously Swiatek facing those 2 match points, and that seemed to, just totally change the landscape. Once she got out of that, she basically just totally, her game changed again. Bencic, I think, Isabelle maybe disagreed a wee bit, but I thought the match points have really affected Bencic. I think she couldn't get it out of her mind that she had been so close because her level just dropped there. She couldn't put away the winners that she'd been doing before. She couldn't get on top of the second serve as she could before. So I think that those match points were pivotal. Didn't watch a lot of the Svitolina because Isabelle was commentating it and basically updating us, but I caught the end. It seemed like it was like I think somebody had said it was one of the matches of the tournament so far. So I mean, it's amazing that we're now starting a Djokovic match. I was saying to Isabelle, you'd think you'd get 3 matches played since 1:30 in the afternoon. You'd think you'd be able to get 3 matches out the way on a single court, but here we are starting the Djokovic 8:45 UK time. So it's just a strange. I mean, they could have. Tom Henman made the point there. I was just before I came on. He was saying, Djokovic and Hurkacz could have been on at 4:00 today. He's like, because you could have had a 3-set match, Rublev winning, and he could have won it in an hour and a half, and then you could have had the women's match in an hour. He's like, they could have been on at 4. He's like, that's the thing about tennis. You just, unless you're playing the first match, you just never know when you're going to go on. Exactly.
Yeah, you never know, and it's interesting. We've had definitely every match this tournament's gone late, and it's definitely been a trend of tennis that the match is getting longer and longer and longer. Yeah. I don't see that reversing anytime soon. No. So maybe they need to have a look at that. But you're right. If they were all straightforward matches, they'd be done by 7. But and maybe it's a sign of how close the field is now that we're going to see a lot less of that going forward.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, I suppose Wimbledon bosses will be somewhat patting themselves in the back because they put on 2 great matches for once. The first few days, centre court and court 1, there was very few. Like I think a lot of people were leaving those courts feeling as if they've been shortchanged because the domination of one player had been too much. But so in one hand, they'll be going, you know what, we did a good job there. We got a 3-set match and a 5-set match. But on the other hand, I mean, I was going to ask you, Nick, and I thought you're a man in the know that now I've put you under pressure, but do we know why Wimbledon can't start before 1 o'clock, half 1? Is this just bosses doing this, or is there any reason why they can't start at 11?
I was doing some research into this because I thought I was going to write something about it. The best explanation I can find is that it's the BBC want it to start at that time. So it's a broadcaster request. I also wouldn't be surprised that if there was an American influence as well, because they have a lot of Wimbledon breakfast shows, like Wake Up to Wimbledon. I don't know, I don't think that's what it's called, but this idea.
Isabelle will tell us when she jumps on.
As they start. Sorry?
Yeah, I'm saying Isabelle will know when she jumps on what they're called, maybe about the US ones. So you think it's abroad, right? Okay, well, that just shows you the changing landscape of tennis in terms of because I know that BBC. I mean, I've been watching it on week 1. I know you were there, and you can tell me about it in a minute. But watching it on BBC One, obviously, to 11 o'clock, you've got to go find it yourself through the iPlayer. On the outside courts, if there's a particular match you're wanting to watch, I don't think the actual program maybe doesn't even start until 12 o'clock, and then they'll maybe do a half an hour of talk, and then basically take you to the show courts. So it will be. It sounds like it may be the BBC.
Yeah. It would be that, yeah. I think, so someone, Lee on tennis Twitter, who runs the Tennis on the Telly account, it's one of his bugbears that they tend to do a bit of talking and then start the actual tennis like 4 games into a match.
Unreal, yeah.
And I think maybe my theory is that the 1:30 start on centre court is so they could do the 1 o'clock news bulletin still, then start after. That's my theory, and then obviously. That means that they'll probably start talking and then the match will get going. And I might miss some of it, but I don't know. I think also depends on the audience maybe they're going for as well. They want to be, maybe they think the audience want to be eased into it. But yeah, from what I can find, I think it was a Daily Telegraph article from 2019. That was the BBC dictating schedules is why. A bit like with Amazon Prime dictating the French Open night session. Start time.
Well, we were talking about that, Isabelle and I, again. I was saying, does the centre court thing, with this, you buy a whole day ticket for centre court and court 1, the fact that Wimbledon do it this way, does that take out all this, all the French Open, stuff about, there's no women's match on it, blah, blah, blah. And the fact that they have an all day ticket, that takes out that completely and just says, right, here you go, you're having an all day ticket. There's not a particular, because am I right in saying the French sell a day ticket and then they sell a night ticket?
Yeah, same as the Australians, same as the US.
Yeah, right. So Wimbledon are the exception then.
Are the outliers? Yeah. They don't. Wimbledon does not have an official night session. Yeah, that's kind of separate because you see this all the time when with Rod Laver Arena or Arthur Ashe Stadium, is that sometimes there's a delay to the start of the night session because the day session matches have gone long. And then they've had to evacuate the day session crowd and get the night session crowd in because they've got different tickets. Yeah.
I remember we were laughing about, was it 2021 when we still had maybe some of the COVID restrictions, and was it the French government when Nadal, Djokovic were playing with that? Just let it keep going. Just let it keep going. Phoned up the umpire and just said, keep them going.
Yeah, well, not only that, they just said, we're not going to make people go home.
No curfew anymore.
Yeah, no curfew tonight. Go and enjoy 2 of the greatest sportsmen all time dueling it out, which was the right decision because it was an epic. That match.
And so, how was your Wimbledon then? How was your week in Wimbledon?
I mean, look, the highlight of my week in Wimbledon was getting to meet the man, the legend, John Silk in person, as well as Jack. Meeting him in person for the first time. So both of them in person, as well as some people from Popcorn Tennis. So Hanya, Claire, Jethro. Met Jakub in person as well.
Yeah, cool. So I was very jealous of the pictures that were coming through on the Talking Tennis WhatsApp. I was very envious. So I've made sure that I'll be there next year.
Yeah, for sure. I think we've got to time it right. I mean, I know my mum's insisting I bring her next time, so
Okay, right.
she's going to be in the mix. But I definitely enjoyed the tennis I could see, and yeah. So I think I didn't go onto the grounds on Tuesday because I knew it was going to rain, but enjoyed watching Andy Murray in a pub with a bunch of Scottish people.
All right, okay. When was
Yeah.
what was this the good day or the bad day on Friday?
I was only there Monday, Tuesday.
Oh, were you? Right, sorry, apologies.
The good day on Tuesday.
Good day on Tuesday then, right? Okay, cool. Right.
Yeah, so saw that, and I think Monday I was in the extraordinarily delayed queue, and ended up getting to watch Leila Fernandez and a bit of Stan Wawrinka's match. By the way, going back to the tennis, I don't know what it is for your screen, but I've got Hurkacz at love 30.
I did have that, and then he's just serving volleyed, and he's now got it to 15-30. So I might be just a tad in front of you.
Fantastic. Okay, that's good. So one of the reasons why I'm not sharing the live score is because the live score is ahead of my stream. Oh, as Djokovic has gone over.
That's what I just saw.
Yeah. But he's fine. He just sort of rolled back onto his feet. Just sort of walks it off. Not bad for a 36-year-old.
No, Mr. Stretch. So I mean, what have I missed? I mean, I've literally not caught any of this so far, other than when we've been chatting.
It's been a very serve-dominated affair, like very quick games. As an excellent forehand volley from Hurkacz, gets it to 30 all. Very quick games, and somewhat really. So probably good news for the Wimbledon organisers that this match probably won't go over until tomorrow. I think we've got our third person. Just give me a thumbs up when you're ready to come on, and we will reintroduce to the mix Isabelle. Hello.
Hi, Nick. It's been so long.
It's been way too long. Hold on. How are you doing? How are you sufficiently recovered from the absolute insanity that was those two women's matches?
Yeah, I had to take a minute. I mean,
how do you think I felt?
Oh, I know. You must have been freaking out with Iga.
I could not sit down for the entire end of second set. I was like on my feet for an hour walking up and down my living room.
You should have been on that stream with us. It was intense.
I don't think anyone would have wanted to see that. I would have barely been on the screen.
But that's what we need: the passion, the energy. I think I don't know if we did it justice. I think we did. We I
think
I love the fact that you two split matches there, because that's one of the things I really like about when we do these streams is we can keep across matches. I don't think anyone else does that.
Yeah. There you go. Isabelle, we're forming a partnership, so there you go.
Yeah. I mean, look, it saves me having to do my ridiculous Wimbledon setup. If I've got a stream where multiple people are watching it and can just tell me what's going on.
Nick, have you been using I asked Isabelle, but obviously with not being in the UK, have you been using iPlayer to watch some of the tennis, like, the outer course?
Yeah, iPlayer.
Have you been finding that iPlayer, like where it is in the stream, is miles behind, the actual result?
Yes, which is why I don't check results whilst on.
Yeah, it's unreal. And it's funny because my mum I was watching, I think, something up in the iPlayer when I was visiting my mum in one room, and she was watching it on BBC One the other day, and I knew what was going to happen because I was so far behind, and she was watching it on the actual BBC One channel.
Wow.
So I have like 5 minutes. I think it was 6 past Murray, actually. So there you go.
Yeah, no, it's ridiculously delayed. It's not great, but as long as you don't have your live scores up, you won't get spoiled, and as long as you don't talk to anyone about the matches, you're also not spoiled.
So what's happening in this one? Like, I mean, Hurkacz obviously 5-4 up. Has there been any breaks of serve? Is it just like you said?
I mean, that Hurkacz game where Djokovic had love 30 is the closest we've had to a break. It's been a very serve-dominated affair right now. It has to be said. So maybe a big one.
Was it yourself who I think when we finished up might have been Jack or Damien, even, because Damien was on that stream. I'm just wondering, somebody was talking about Hurkacz and saying that he could pose a danger here at Wimbledon. So yeah, I think
there might have been Shrihari.
Right. Okay.
Possibly, like if you talk about last ball drops.
I think I was talking on the actual French Open final stream that I did with Jack, and I think Damien came in. I was just trying to remember. I
wasn't on that one.
I think it was then. It must have been. I think it was Damien who basically was talking up Hurkacz's chances.
Yeah, absolutely. So I would say you're right, because Djokovic and Hurkacz actually traditionally have had some quite close battles. I'm thinking, obviously, the last time they played at Wimbledon, I believe Hurkacz took a set off Djokovic. Could be wrong. I'm just going to get the head-to-head up, to be honest.
I think you're right.
It's already here. Fantastic. The ATP site has predicted where I'm trying to go to. So Djokovic leads the head-to-head 5-0. But looking at some of their matches, like the last time they played Wimbledon, it was 7-5, 6-7, 6-1, 6-4. 2021, they played in Paris. It went to a deciding tiebreak. They played in Dubai this year. It was 6-3, 7-5. So there's most of the matches they've played, there's only been maybe 1 or 2 breaks of serve. And I think Hurkacz on a good day has the capability of taking a set off Djokovic. So I don't think it's going to be a walk in the park. Sorry, what?
Just a set, not the match.
It depends on sort of whether Hurkacz is the match of his life, I think.
Yeah. I think, I mean, obviously, we all know about Hurkacz's size, his serving ability, that a lot of his game on grass is built on that. Djokovic, though, seen a few things, and I actually wrote about this when he won. I think it was 2021 when he won the Australian Open. I was doing a bit of writing for a site, and I wrote about how Djokovic's serve had improved so much. I think obviously some commentators have now been obviously mentioning that at Wimbledon. I think John Mack was talking about it. Somebody tweeted, I need to start remembering these tweets, but somebody had tweeted saying that he thinks that, it was maybe Mark Petchey yesterday. I don't know if you saw that, Nick. It's talking about Djokovic's serve probably being one of the best in history, inch by inch. Is that something for you? I mean, do you think? I thought it was interesting that he mentioned that the Djokovic serve was potentially one of the greatest in history, as well as him being one of the greatest players in history.
Greatest serve in history? I don't know, because I've not watched enough people's serves. It's definitely one of the most. It's probably the most improved in history.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair point. Yeah.
I mean, who else would be on that list?
Federer.
Really?
Sampras.
We're just talking men.
I mean, I'm assuming we're talking men's history.
Yeah.
Like when people say history and mention a male player, I assume they're only talking about male players. Because if we're talking about combined, then there's kind of different metrics in there. The women's going to be a lot more about spot serving. Actually, they're both going to be about spot serving to a certain extent. But I don't know, like Serena's the obvious one for the women.
Her serve probably rivaled some men as well.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, actually, yeah, probably would have. But I can't. I've not watched enough like distant past to comment on their serves.
Yeah.
What about currently? Are there on the men's side? Are there any serves that you think would be considered better or rival to Djokovic?
That's a good question. Apart
from like the big power servers like Isner and Opelka.
Yeah.
Putting them aside because that's their only weapon.
Yeah. Kyrgios in that bracket as well. Who's got a good serve? Tom, what do you think?
Off the top of my head, I think. I mean, there's so many metrics to serve. So you look at the Bublik serve, and he had the most aces on tour for a while. I'm sure it was something like across a 5-year period he'd had something crazy like 580 aces or something stupid like that. I saw that, but then you're looking at a lot of people do say the Kyrgios serve is one of the best on tour in terms of how aggressive it is and the motion. I heard a couple of commentators one time talking about Taylor Fritz having a really good serve. To be honest, I've looked at it and I don't see it, but I mean, consistently Taylor Fritz, I think he does have a fairly high, first serve 0.1 across the tour. But
didn't Felix have the record last season for most aces? He had
was
a pretty.
it Felix last year?
I want to say it was Felix last year.
Yeah.
He had he had like one of the best serves, I think. But I think it's fallen by the wayside a little bit this season.
But then you look at like players like serve bots like Isner and Karlovic. So there's just like I know that there's a difference between being a great player and being a great server, but obviously Hurkacz, his game has built quite a lot. His grass game is really built about like serving well and coming in. So I think that's why maybe I think Damien, I think it was, who had said that he does think that he can pose a threat at this event. My quote was actually even wrong. It was Mark Petchey on the 7th. So it was 10:05 on the 7th of July. So that was Friday night. And he said, starting to think that inch for inch, Novak Djokovic is the best first server the sport has ever seen. So obviously that gives it a slightly different angle. He's basically saying, he's the best first server.
I'm going to say I don't understand enough of the technical side of the sport. I don't feel like it goes off I have to go off the eye. And I'd say for me, I'm biased. I'm going to say Federer because that it's going to take a lot to usurp that man in my eyes. So I don't know. This is the kind of conversation that I would want Jack and Damien on.
I was just thinking, if only Jack were here, he would have a lot to say.
Yeah, because they know.
Jack, where are you? Get on here right now.
Yeah. What's happening in the tennis then? Where are we? I'm just seeing the Djokovic is sitting down, but it's 6-5 Hurkacz.
Yeah, change of ends. Again, no one really threatening to break at this. I think we're heading for a tie break, and then I think we'll probably have to focus on the match.
For once.
I think Rafa's serve does should be praised. He has improved it a lot over the years, but I think he's just not quite as good a spot server as Federer or Djokovic got to be. Maybe.
And do you think, in terms of Djokovic, I think it's a lot of it is down to Goran Ivanisevic, who was, known for his serving ability as well.
So what was that? Yeah, it's Goran, right? Because that's when we really saw the improvements come in.
Yeah.
We were talking about this on our earlier stream, Nick. Do you think there's anyone left in the draw that stands a chance at taking out Djokovic? Because I said no.
That's the perennial question, isn't it?
Yeah.
Let's look at let's assume Djokovic wins this match, which is a reasonably safe assumption.
Yeah.
He's got Rublev next. I don't fancy Rublev's chances.
Don't see any problems there.
Poor boy. I just want him to get into the semis, and it's just never going to happen.
Jannik Sinner could be an interesting clash in the semis.
That's true. He did take him to 5 last year, didn't he?
And I think Sinner's playing better.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not necessarily saying that Sinner would win, but I think we could see another 5-setter or type 4-setter. I think he could really get under Djokovic's skin. And there's just something about Alcaraz at the minute that maybe he could do something in a final. That being said, I am starting to get doubts he gets past Berrettini.
We said that because Berrettini last night, I used the word blistering. I just thought it was, where did this come from? I'm sitting there watching it, going, this has been totally out of the blue, and it just blew him off the court. And then I'm sitting there going, can Alcaraz even live with that kind of power and pace and precision? Do you know what I mean? Because he was going for backhand winners down the line all the time. It was really good to watch, really fun to watch.
It's tie-break time.
Okay, so every point is more or less a break point here for these guys.
Pretty much, yeah, because obviously they've just been. I think at the minute the maybe the Hurkacz serve is the slightly more vulnerable one, but like this tie-break could actually be a coin flip, I think.
Well, looking at the kind of mid-match stats, Hurkacz has had 6 aces. He's managed to get his first serve in 88% of the time. That's 29 out of his 33 serves. that's got to be hard to live with.
All right. Well, Hurkacz got off to a great start there with a nice sort of serve volley attempt. Djokovic attempted lob pass, went over the baseline. So Hurkacz got the best start he could have hoped for this tiebreak. I think we need to synchronize where we're at. So I've got Djokovic bouncing the ball about to serve at 0-1.
Yes.
Same.
I think he's served and he's challenging a call. I may be wrong. So I'm just about 10 seconds ahead, but I can pause mine.
All right.
Would that make more sense?
Okay. John is saying that he thinks Novak has this. I think I've got a slightly delayed stream. I think what we could do is like what we were doing in the French Open final, where John was ahead of me, so I was talking through it, and then you react, or you can talk through it and then we react. But
okay, so do you want to go for it then? You want to take this tiebreak then, and I'll just kind of react on the back of that then.
All right, okay, let's go. So Djokovic got on second serve, and Hurkacz overhits the forehand to go out, and it's 1-1 in the tiebreak. Yeah, I think it depends on how much people mind getting spoiled and how much people mind whether we're behind. But we're going to wing this, as we always do on Talking Tennis. We are a professional tennis stream.
You can't say wing it and then professional in the same sentence.
Well,
you can when you're talking about me.
Hey, look, there's no squirrels today. We're fine.
She'd forgotten all about that. She's moved house. And I asked her if she was moving house because she was scared of squirrels, and she was like, "Oh yeah, I forgot about that."
Well, I didn't realize what you were talking about for a second. It took me a minute to get the joke.
Yeah, all right. Djokovic has now won the last points, 2-1. Hurkacz is now serving. Pressure back on the pole. I asked at the beginning of the stream, are we going to get some more Polish heroics today? Possibly. It's 2-2. Yeah, I think, look, for those of us who were going back to the whole winging it and being professional is lying and pretending you don't wing it, when in reality you just do that every single day.
Everybody
At least that's what I do in my job.
Everybody wings it, Nick. Everybody wings it. They just get away with it, but a lot better.
Yeah, I mean, unless you're someone like Andrew Castle on the BBC commentary. But anyway, Djokovic is at 2-3. I think our score guy is somewhat behind, but I can keep us up to date with that. In the tiebreak.
Nick, was it yourself? You just mentioned Andrew Castle. Did I see a tweet from you questioning the BBC commentary team?
No, I don't put tweets out like that.
No, right, okay. I definitely saw somebody in the Talking Tennis fraternity just basically saying, "Who is this commentating?" or something like that.
Oh Andrew. Yeah, he's. Yeah, I don't want to get into it. Like, there's a reason he's got the job, and clearly people find him a relatable commentator. Maybe if they're aged over 50.
Yeah. Do you ever hear him on LBC?
No.
He sometimes has a show in that, and it's not a great listen. That's all I'm saying.
Right, so it's 3-3 in the tie-break. Djokovic serving. They've just swapped sides. And Djokovic is bouncing the ball. It's 9:29 p.m. in the UK. Actually, no, that goes to show how far my stream is behind, because it actually says 9:31 on my laptop. So there you go.
Okay.
Yeah, Djokovic puts the first serve into the net. Something's clearly happened.
Not telling you.
Not telling you.
I'm maintaining a very blank face because I have.
Oh my word, you're way ahead of me then.
Yeah, a fair bit, but I have no stake in this, so it won't be like this Svitolina match for me. I can maintain composure.
Double fault. That's probably what you're reacting to.
Yeah, yes. So it's a mini break for Hurkacz. And unlike Wawrinka, when it's this kind of situation, you think he's going to have the serve to see this out,
So for Hurkacz 4-3 has an opportunity to serve out.
Djokovic hasn't lost a set this tournament, has he?
Nope. No, he's Kachin's taken into a tie break.
Wawrinka, obviously,
taken into a tie break.
Not a very good one.
Was he 5-3 up and he just threw it away?
Yeah.
Was that the Thompson tiebreak? I didn't watch the match really.
No, Wawrinka, I'm sure the third
Okay.
set, he was
Oh,
5-3
yeah.
up and then he just gave up. He was just like, I'm
Yeah.
not even trying anymore.
I
Speaking of-
had it on the radio and I was just like, Stan.
Speaking of 5-3, Hurkacz played much better at 5-3 because he's taken it to 6-3 now with an ace right on the chalk or titanium, but
3
chalk's
set
cooler.
points.
Yeah, on 2 of them on the Djokovic serve.
Yep.
So that's going to be exciting to see how that one turns out. Okay. Serves into the net from Djokovic. This is probably the worst tiebreak I've seen him play in a long time.
Yeah, he's been so. Was it 12-0? No, it's more than that, isn't it? It's more than 12.
He's on a tiebreak winning streak, but I can't remember what. Yeah.
Djokovic, though, I mean, he's just a supercomputer, though, isn't he? Like, you know,
He's
whatever.
not beaten until the point is done. He's absolutely not. It's not.
And like, it's just he can problem solve in, you know, seconds. Mid problem, he can problem solve.
First set point saved.
Yeah. See.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, even if Hurkacz wins the first set, I don't think we're going to say Djokovic is in trouble unless Hurkacz wins the second as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even then,
even then, yeah, we saw what happened with Yannick Sinner last year as unreturnable serve from Djokovic to take it to 6-5. This tiebreak won't even be done yet. Let's not write Djokovic out of the tiebreak.
Yeah.
Such is the greatness of the Serbian in this situation. I mean, look, we just saw another great player clutch win and saving match points only an hour ago, 2 hours ago. So here we go. Hurkacz goes body serve, then cross court forehand into the net, and yeah, tiebreak's not done.
Not done at all. 6-all.
That one is one he's going to regret, I think.
Yeah,
that is, oh dear.
That's a tough one. And as I say, the Djokovic is never done until the point is finished. Until that set point, game point, championship point, whatever it is, until that has been done and played, he's probably the best of that in history. 100%. It's just, you know, you can't turn off your TV until the game or whatever is done.
Yeah, Djokovic is not done until he's done, until he says it's done.
Yeah, pretty much. It was probably, you could just tell there as soon as the ball was bouncing up, he's not even going to get this over the net here because the pressure is on now.
Yeah, he just flattened. It was way too flat. He didn't really lift it. He was just trying to slap it away for a winner, and then goes way long in his first serve, which is not what he needed at all. Hurkacz. There was a 138-mile-an-hour serve that wasn't anywhere near the box. Serves into sort of the Djokovic backhand. They are trading backhands at the minute. Slice from Hurkacz. Djokovic counter slices. Hurkacz then puts backhand tamely into the net. Can't generate any pace. 7-6.
He's lost the last 4 points. Has gone to Djokovic, and he now has the ball in his racket, and he'll be serving it out for the first set.
Yeah, what a twist, right?
Yeah.
Is it a twist? Maybe not.
Well, he may be looking. Not. No, I was just trying to look at the time and say, right, he's wrapped up the first set, 25-10. Could he still get this done?
Oh, I think he's going to get this done
before 11.
In an hour and a half, in 2 sets, with a serve-dominated match. Yeah, he's going to get this done.
Well,
yeah.
So,
I often wonder if Djokovic is so like confident and untouchable at this point in his career that like he just doesn't even worry when he's in a spot of trouble, like, you know, Hurkacz being 6-3 up in a tiebreak. Like he's just like, nah, I'm gonna win. I just know. I don't have to worry about this.
I think Djokovic is legendary for having saved match point and gone on to win Grand Slams.
Yeah.
Like he's at this point, I think he's learned over the basis of a decade and a bit that it's not over until someone calls game, set, and match. So he's just going to keep fighting.
Yeah.
I think, I think that's why he gets so riled up by crowds, because the crowds are obviously there because, and it's not that they don't like Djokovic, they just want to see a longer match and they think he's too good. They think he's just so good and so efficient in his wins that when the opponent then starts to kind of have a bit of pushback, either a break a serve or, gets a couple of points, the crowd back that, and then it gets Djokovic angry, and he's like, how dare you back them? I've won this tournament 7 times. Why are you backing them? I should be getting the love. But it's only because the crowd aren't going up because they don't like Djokovic. It's because they want to see, a more competitive match. Yeah. But just I've seen it a few times. He'll be sitting there and he'll be clasping the ear and he'll be right up to them and he'll be staring them down. And then after on the court interview, he'll be going, "Oh yeah, I've got a special relationship with centre court." And you're like, "Well, that wasn't 5 minutes ago, mate. You were shouting at them." Do you know what I mean? So
that's the aspect of Djokovic that I don't particularly. I mean, everyone knows I'm not a fan of his, but it's that part of his personality on court that I just don't vibe with.
Yeah,
like it's just yeah.
No, I agree. I think I'm similar because I actually quite like Novak in terms of his personality. Like, see when he's off the court, and he seems like a decent lad. It's just that it's that kind of, how dare you not like me? And obviously everybody's got their own opinion as to why he's the least popular of the big three. I mean, I think it's the other two came around first, and people had picked their side, and then this other guy came about and was like better than their favourite. But I think that's got a big thing to do with it, is like his on-court persona, back and forth with the crowd. I think that's why he's not universally liked. So
yeah, but even in matches, with Nadal and Federer, when there's like an underdog, the crowds will often root for the underdog, even if it's Federer. I mean, and Federer is universally loved at all of the Grand Slams. So, but like I've seen them root for their opponents when it seems like their opponent is going to make a break for it, and they never take it personally, it seems.
Yeah.
So that like you said, that definitely has a factor in their universal likability.
I'm sure watching the Nadal Felix match last year, I'm sure there was it started at one point to get a bit split the crowd. I know that's like Nadal at Roland Garros, but it was just because it's a similar situation. The crowd wanted to see a match, and they thought this guy could actually beat him. They want to see history. People want to see history. They want to go, I was there when Nadal got beat, or I was there when Djokovic got beat.
Yeah, so you want your money's worth. You don't want to sit there pay $200 to sit there for an hour and a half and watch somebody get scorched. That's not necessarily fun or worth the money. I could do that at home.
Unless you really, really like that player.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, Djokovic fans probably love that and will spend that much money doing that. And that's, fair play. Like, that is totally their thing to enjoy.
Isabelle, would you not have paid money to watch Federer go into fifth gear and roll someone?
Of course I would have. I totally get it. I totally get it. I absolutely, if I had been able to see Federer when he was still playing in his prime, even like, oh yeah, I would have paid money to watch him steamroll someone. So no, I understand it, but as someone who isn't a Djokovic fan, like I want to pay to see a real match. Yeah, which I don't think we're gonna get here.
Yeah, I think it was always with this one. I think the first serve was massive. If it saw those 3 points, one of those 3 points, we could actually potentially. I mean, I still would have favoured Djokovic, but we could have had a potential. There could have been trouble, and it puts more pressure on Djokovic in set 2. To try and break down that serve, and the fact that it hasn't happened now, it's a long, long way back now. I just don't see it.
Yeah, I don't see. Don't forget though. Last time we played at Wimbledon, Hurkacz did win set 2, but then Djokovic.
Set 2, right? Okay, I was actually coming to that. Going, what set was it? It
was the second set on a tiebreak.
Just a quick start, Phil. Just in terms of the match so far, and then we can come back to it. I know that the BBC are going elsewhere right now, but Djokovic is won 93% of his first serves, and I think maybe that's what Mark Petrie talks about when he says one of the greatest first servers of all time. 93% is 27 out of 29 is pretty impressive, and he has won 44 to 39 in terms of the points overall. So I just thrown out a couple of stats that I'm keeping an eye on.
Yeah, I mean, I'm watching the court stream rather than the BBC coverage, which is also a little bit further behind the actual BBC coverage.
That'll be why you're a wee bit behind us, right? Okay, well, I'll go into that while you guys chat, right?
Yeah. I'm on the like the centre court stream because I didn't want to have to navigate channel hopping or anything like that. Like I could just have that one consistent stream. Beyond the being behind thing, actually genuinely think, aside from the commentary, which can be hit or miss, the BBC options that they give you are absolutely brilliant. Like as a tennis fan, and unlike Amazon Prime, which I can only really watch one match at a time, maybe two, but it kicks up a fuss. I can actually watch multiple streams on multiple devices if I wanted to.
Can you not do that with Amazon?
No, Amazon Prime.
I've not tried it in a while, unless they changed it.
Them. And some people Amazon Prime won't let them. For me, I find that if I start a second stream on it, it's very laggy.
Right.
So
they're wise to it, and they're like, you're not watching 2 tennis matches here, buddy.
But BBC don't care. BBC are like, yeah, sure, log in on 5 or 6 different devices. You're fine.
TV, laptop, phone, tablet. You've got it all.
I genuinely had that at one point.
Well, I mean, as hard as it may be for you guys, you still have it easier than anyone in the States does.
Oh, I know. I'm aware that the US coverage of tennis is appalling.
Abysmal.
We've frequently complained about this.
We were speaking about Eubanks and about how Isabelle was telling me. I mean, I've only seen clips of his commentary or his punditry, but Isabelle was absolutely waxing lyrical about him earlier. He's
a fantastic commentator. I hope he replaces the McEnroe brothers soon.
That's generally the case, that the people who have been more recent players are generally better because they understand the modern game a bit more. Like BBC have recruited a few new recently retired players. Sanya Mirza has been doing a great job on the BBC, I think. Yeah. She's been brilliant.
Good.
Feliciano Lopez actually is quite interesting too.
Yeah, he's been all right. He's been funny. I don't know if you were watching whatever match it was. It was Andrew Castle actually, and he was like, "Oh, are you on Twitter?" And he was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Oh, what's your Twitter? What's your name on Twitter?" And he was like, Feliciano Lopez. Awkward silence, and they were like, "Right, okay." No, he's been good. He's been good.
They've had. Sorry, go ahead, Dom.
I was just going to say, it was funny. I listened to, I can't remember what tennis podcast it was during the week, and there was a guy who deals with or has dealt with marketing, Wimbledon marketing over the years, and he was talking about the appointees of the BBC, and he was talking about like Mercer might have been aimed at the Indian market because he thinks that like Wimbledon and the ATP and WTA have identified the Indian market as the next emerging market for tennis. And I think
they'd be right to do that though, because there's so many Indian fans out there already that it would make sense. It's just ridiculous that they seem to be losing all their tournaments.
Yeah. It's a strange one, isn't it? If they're going to identify that as the emerging market, then why take it off them? Strange. Anyway, back to the tennis. My stream now has got Djokovic at 30-15.
I've jumped the gun there with updating the score. I've already got Djokovic winning this game, but it's 30-all for me. So a little bit of probably the closest Djokovic service game we've had at 30-all. Djokovic is getting ready to serve and gets up, throws the ball, goes down the middle with an ace. There's that Djokovic spot serving we've been talking about. That was brutality in serving form.
Thanks, Novak. You backed up the point. So well done, buddy.
Absolutely. So I would say so. Yeah. So at the minute, I jumped the gun a bit, but I'm pretty confident Djokovic is going to close out the game. Let's see if he does. Again, goes up the middle. Again, Hurkacz lifts it up. Can't get a purchase on the serve. Djokovic holds 2-1.
How many is there? I don't think there's been a break point yet, has there?
No.
Not one, not even a glimmer.
No. This is a very old school Wimbledon match, very serve dominated, very uncharacteristic to how a lot of the other matches have been this championships.
Well, I've got an interesting point about that because I was going to ask you there about if a first time tennis watcher. So I'll give you a bit of background onto this. My missus, my partner, she basically came to me before Wimbledon. She's like, right, Wimbledon's coming up. I'm going to get into tennis, right? So we'll sit down one night, we'll watch a tennis match, and you can tell me about it. Now I'm talking like, and she'll not mind me saying this if she's watching, but her knowledge of tennis is pretty much zero. Like, and doesn't know the scoring system. I had to explain to her, like, you know, where they're trying to get it into the service box and what's out and whatnot. That's how little knowledge she has of tennis. So we sit down and we watch. I go, it's better if we start. So she basically came in with Runa Davidovich-Fokina last night. I said,
that was a good choice.
Well, but I said it's better if we start from scratch, because now we're at this point in the fifth set. You're going to be like, what? We're how many games in fifth set and what? So I was like, let's start the start, ground zero. So we'll do this Berrettini match. So we start watching that. And I've realised that I'm really rubbish at trying to describe the tennis scoring system. Like,
that's not your fault. That is not your fault. No, really, it is a really weird system to explain. You are not alone in that.
Cool. Right, that's what I was wanting you to say, Isabelle. So thank you. Because I'm trying to go. So effectively, each game they're trying to get it to 6. But then you need to win by 2 clear games. But then when I start going down that avenue, she's like, "What?" And then I'm trying to say, right, it's the first to 4 points. But then if they get to 4 points, they pretty much get like to a stalemate, and then they have to win by another 2 points. She's going, why is it 15-30 and all that? I'm like, just pretend it's 1-0 and 2-0 and 1-0 and 2-0. And then I'm like, and then I thought I'd have her. I thought I'd have her by the end of set 1. I'm like, she's going to be loving this sport.
Yeah.
Nah, I think she chucked it before. I mean, she stuck with it, but she wasn't really interested. She was on her phone and stuff like that. So
she'd have stuck with the fifth set.
No, of Runa.
Yeah, Runa Davidovich.
I think you should start her on a shorter match. I think getting in on a like, you know, 4 to 5 hour match, 5 sets, like that's a lot for a non-tennis fan to sit through. So I would start with something a little easier.
Well, the reason why it came to my head, because I was thinking, imagine if I'd sat down and watched this with her, it'd be so much easier to go, right, look, because there's no break point. Because I remember going, oh, now he's got a break point. She's like, what does a break point mean? And I'm like, because he'll go to break serve. And then because I'm thinking it's second nature to me, I'm realising somebody who doesn't have a clue, she's like, what?
I tend to go, the way I explain it is kind of, I tend to go big picture first. So, okay, what does it take to win a tennis match? You need to win 2 sets. How do you win a set? You win 6 games. How do you win a game? You win 4 points. You generally, when you break it down from big to small, you kind of get there. And then the other details like breaking serve and all that, just say, that's just a tennis term. This is what it means.
Yeah, fair enough. No, that's good. That's why I come to you guys for tips on how to do this.
I mean, I've never successfully converted a partner.
Neither have I.
I've definitely gotten them to a point where like they'll watch it with me, but they often say that they're watching it because I'm more entertaining to watching tennis because of how into it I get rather than the match itself.
And this is why we live stream you watching tennis.
Exactly. So don't worry about it, Tom. Like, it's not it's a really complicated scoring system, and if you don't either
I appreciate that.
Grow up getting into it or really take the time to get it. I mean, when I was playing tennis as a teenager, I still didn't really get the scoring system or bother myself
with
it.
Is there potentially some matches that you've won, Isabelle, that you didn't know that you'd won?
It's possible.
Break point. This is our first break point in the match, and it's on the Hurkacz serve, 30-40.
Okay.
Djokovic Hurkacz is kind of shouting at his box. Djokovic potentially about to take a steel grip on this match. He's ready and waiting to return. Possibly the greatest returner in the sport. Hurkacz goes up the line and aces, saves break point. Djokovic is crossing the other side. Well, that was dramatic for a moment.
Well, do you know something? This is why I think people like Damien have said that Hurkacz is going to be have a half decent chance. And the reason what I'm thinking is he's got that serve that, like, because Djokovic is going to have opportunities in any tennis match he ever plays. And most of the time, these players who he's playing can't handle that. And basically because he's just too good. Hurkacz has got that 3 point every time. Do you know what I mean? And that's maybe potentially where the thinking behind Hurkacz as a player here.
There's a stat that's just flashed up on screen as Hurkacz aces again. 60% of his first serves have been unreturned, and that's by Novak Djokovic.
Wow. Okay. I mean, that just shows you how well he is serving. I mean, 84% he's getting his first serves in. And you're telling me 60% of that they're not coming back. So unreal serving. I was actually thinking again, similar to my pals like tennis, but they were asking me about the Tsitsipas Murray match on Friday because obviously Scottish caring when he's played. And I was talking about Tsitsipas, and they were going, "Oh, his serve's really good." And I was thinking, was it 37? I said to them, I'm sure it was 37 first serves he had earlier in the year. Was that in Rome? Am I right in saying that? It was like something crazy, like 37 first. I think it was against Dominic Thiem. I think it was either Madrid or Rome. And he served basically 37 first serves in a row. And so I was telling him, Tsitsipas can serve.
Yeah, he can. And, you know, that's...
But he's not renowned for it. He's not known for it. Do you know what I mean? He's not known for his really good serving, Tsitsipas.
No, he's known for his one-handed backhand and long hair.
Well, his forehand was a delight for us Andy Murray fans over those 2 days.
Oh yeah, I broke down my thoughts on that match in last ball drops. I would say that Murray was definitely unfortunate not to win it. He didn't take his chances. Tsitsipas did, and that's what kind of edged it. Tsitsipas played the best on grass I've ever seen him play on grass.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, as I was saying to the pals on the Thursday night, like, because they were going, how can Murray beat this guy who's number 5 in the world? And I'm like, well, grass is a leveler. He's only won one match in grass. Murray's been playing in grass for the last 3 weeks, won 2 challenger tournaments. So Murray will have a serious chance. I felt like if it finished on Thursday night, Murray was going to win it. Obviously, it was not going to. I mean, that's just the way it is. It's not going to finish. But I just thought that, like, because Tsitsipas walked off there looking dejected, they looked beat on Thursday night. I had a feeling. I said it at the time. I said he'll come back there with a wee bit of oomph, going, I've got a second chance here. And he did just that. So fair enough. Fair play to him. I've got no reservation other than the challenge, but that's Andy Murray's fault. He should have challenged. The cross-court forehand. He didn't.
And there's no guarantee he would have still won the game anyway.
No, fair enough. Fair point. Because, you know, Tsitsipas is like that. He'll serve out 2 big ones. So, yeah, you know, that's a fair point.
They've just flashed the Djokovic first serve and return stat on screen, 48%.
Okay, still not a bad stat. Jesus.
Yeah. That's pretty good. It's not as impressive as Hurkacz, but it's like, that's still a really, really good serving day for most people. Great shot. And Hurkacz is almost doing this. It actually did do the splits trying to get to it, but did not reach it.
So I'm now behind you because I went to the centre court stream and I've just seen that. So there we go. We flipped.
Yeah, that looked potentially painful.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's been a few slips, and I know it's probably the same every Wimbledon, and I know the rain has been an issue. But there's been a few people slipping. I mean, Berrettini seems to be every time he's on court, he says, I'm not playing because it's too slippy. I know that Murray had a slip just before that set point. Djokovic had a couple the other night as well. So it does seem a bit greasy out there.
Grass is slippery though.
Yeah.
Anyway, I mean, anyone who has played any sport on that surface would probably be able to tell you that. Although I'm not really speaking from experience, I've never played tennis on grass, so I can't comment. The closest I've done is Astro.
Yeah, I've played on that like fake grass that they have.
Yeah.
When I was in Glasgow, Jack and I played on that whatever surface.
Oh, is that in Newlands? Was it? That was in Newlands.
Yeah. But I've never played on any other surface apart from hard court.
Same. I mean, I would love to give all surfaces a go. I've never played on grass, and I would love to have a go on clay. Just to say I've done it.
There's a couple of clay courts down by my way, so yeah, I've played on clay. It's just I don't think I was old enough to remember it.
Unfortunately, yeah, I'm in a part of the world where tennis is not like the primary sport, although they have just resurfaced some local courts pretty nicely. I'm playing a local tennis league at the minute. Went to play a match in kind of like a local park, and we were having to dodge tennis balls coming across from another court, as well as a football and a cricket ball that was coming over every now and again. It was pretty much a multi-sport. There was people playing basketball outside as well. It was a busy day.
Whereabouts are you, Nick?
Near Stoke-on-Trent.
Near Stoke, right? Okay.
Cool. When I say near, I can get to Stoke within 10-minute walk from where I live.
All right. Okay. So that's Alton Towers way, isn't it?
Yes, that's right. Yeah,
that's a theme park, by the way.
It's the only people who very recently to go.
Alton Towers is a big theme park in the UK. So we don't have that many.
It's not as, although having said that, no, you go to Alton Towers because you can't afford to fly to the US to go to Orlando or Disney or whatever.
I mean, honestly, I grew up in Los Angeles, and I think I've only been to Disneyland 2 times. It's really not. I don't know. It's it's overpriced, and it's like an hour away in traffic. So like, it's not really a thing.
Indian Wells is a better use of your time and money.
Oh, absolutely. Actually, it's cheaper. Indian Wells was much cheaper than going to Disneyland in LA.
Maybe for you, not so much for me.
Yeah. But you can go to Wimbledon more easily than I can now.
That is true. That is true.
I'm gonna try to come next year. See if I have the cash.
Do it.
Start saving now.
Yeah. Well, I've got a job in the fall that should be a nice payout. So hopefully I'll just set aside a certain amount of it and be like, this is my Wimbledon money.
Perfect timing for once the main tennis season has finished, so that can't really distract you. The US Open is done by that point.
I've got my US Open tickets already.
Woo!
So
you're going to be the talking tennis live reporter?
I'll be on the ground, yeah.
You'd be good at that.
Oh, thanks.
I'll give you a mic and like, what's the update from?
Listen, if John is listening, he'll have you working, Isabelle.
Oh, I'm sure he will. I have a ticket to the quarterfinals day session. I splurged.
No, that's a splurge.
But I bought the cheapest ticket. So actually, a grounds pass would have been more expensive than that. So what I'm planning to do is to just check back every day that I'm in New York and see if there's any cheap tickets or cheap grounds passes that I can get like day of. That's what John recommended I do.
Well, yeah, because that's something I've noticed. I've never been to the US Open, but something like discussing with people about is that the US Open does have much more it's much more flexible on ticket price. It just constantly seems to change. Whereas Wimbledon, you know what it is, they set it and it doesn't change for anything.
I much prefer that system than the US Open. Yeah, I really enjoyed, the $20 grounds pass I got at Wimbledon. So awesome.
Yeah.
And especially since you can like bring things to Wimbledon, you can bring your own food and drink, whereas in the US you can't bring in your own food, can't bring in anything. You have to bring in an empty water bottle. Like there's so many rules.
I was saying
so
Miles
that they can cheat you out of money.
On Last Ball Drops a couple of nights ago, and he was like, really? So I could bring fried chicken into Wimbledon? It's like, yes, you can if you so wish.
You can.
I heard, in terms of the difference in Grand Slams, like sometimes with the US Open, and apologies if I'm causing any offence, but a lot of the people are there just to like be there. So like they'll go, oh yeah, I've got like an Arthur Ashe ticket, and then you can go, oh, who's playing? And they'll be like, I don't know. But they're just there to have the prestige.
I think that might be the case. It's like it's like an event. That doesn't really, bother me to, really, because it's, people, they're enjoying it, they're enjoying the event.
Absolutely.
So they're enjoying the sport.
They're enjoying it. They're following the sport.
Wimbledon as well a bit. I mean, people will be like, there'll be a prestige to getting centre court on, Wednesday or Thursday Wimbledon tickets, and they'll be like, who's playing? Don't care as long as I'm there. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah, that's very much the attitude at Wimbledon, and from what I can gather, it's a similar thing in Australia and France.
Yeah.
All right, so it's everywhere.
Yeah.
every slam.
Yeah, it's just like it's a local thing at a certain point if you can afford to go.
I think what I've talking to a couple of people, because again I was doing some research for a piece that may or may not come out, it appears that like Australia, France, and Britain go tennis mad for 2 weeks whenever their home slam is on. The US isn't quite the same. It's kind of seen as like another sporting event. Yeah. I don't know if that's true or not, but that seems to be what I get.
Yeah. I mean, I would probably agree with that because we do have so many.
Yeah, but I mean, tennis
sporting events here.
Tennis is competing with what, like the NFL, NBA, Major League Baseball.
Yeah, baseball, basketball, football, hockey, even.
NHL, yeah.
Yeah, but again, like that I think is mostly in part because they just have the poorest broadcasting. It's spread across so many different platforms that even if you wanted to get into tennis, it's impossible. to start. You know, so I don't blame like the sport for that, or the fact that we have so many sports in this country. I think that's just entirely due to broadcasting. Even with the U.S. Open, you'd think, okay, this is a U.S. tournament, this is going to be on. It's not. It's not on TV half the time, and they split it up between like 3 different networks, and you have to pay individually for all those networks. And then in addition to those networks, you have to pay for their like premium things. And it's like, this is I get this for like something like, you know, Wimbledon or the French Open, because that is a foreign tournament, but this is a US based tournament. Like, this should be on US main feeds, and it's just not. And I don't even think there's really any other major sporting event that happens around the same time. And I don't quote me on that, because I don't really follow any other sports, but I don't recall there being much else going on at the, you know, end of August, early September. Yeah. So you would think, I think that looking at the amount of tickets they sell and the big crowds they get at the US Open, I think there's clearly a market for American tennis fans. It's just that we're shut out of it half the time.
I think might be in danger of that in the UK. Might be in danger of that in the UK anyway, for different reasons. In that, obviously the ATP and the WTA tours are going to Sky, which is going to be a lot more expensive than Amazon Prime. So
I'm gutted. I'm so gutted about. Like, is that? I mean, I know it's just the US Open this year, but has that been confirmed? I've been keeping an eye on that. Has that been confirmed?
It's confirmed. ATP and WTA tours are going over as well in 2024.
2024. Okay, cool. Right. Just because I loved the way Prime did it, you know, in terms of the multi-screen and everything like that. It was so good.
Which Sky have said they will do.
How? I don't know how they would do it.
I think you have to have the app. You have to have a certain app.
Sky Sports app. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah.
Djokovic is making a move here, is he?
Probably, yeah.
Sorry for getting off topic.
No, that's what we're here for. We're still talking tennis. So
this is talking tennis. Also, like, what we're going to describe: serve.
Yeah. I was going to say, I was scrolling through Twitter, and Owen tweeted, "This matchup is deathly boring." I hate to agree, but yeah, it is deathly boring.
Owen is usually spot on most things, apart from one-handed backhands. I mean, you're a Federer fan. You'd agree with me.
I'm a Federer fan. However, I agree that most of the one-handed backhands on tour right now those players should not be using the one-handed backhand. Even Shapovalov, who has a good one-handed backhand, they should switch.
Got a good one.
Stan maybe has the best one. One, but he's also from that kind of Federer era, so I don't consider him like.
Oh, forehand winner from Djokovic is up love 40.
You can see what Isabelle thinks of that.
Yeah. So love 40. It's 4-3 Djokovic. So if he breaks here, he's serving for the set.
It's funny because I was about to ask you, Nick. You see when they were? I mean, let's not say there's going to be a break of serve here, but when it was at 3-all and it was like 10 o'clock, I was like, I'm going to go to Nick. You still think this is going to be finished by 11 o'clock?
Oh, I think it is.
Yeah.
What time is it now?
10.
Yeah.
Anyway, Djokovic. Sorry, not Djokovic. Djokovic, we're going to return Hurkacz serve, which is it tries to get in play, but he's missed it. He was going out wide, and it's a second serve for Djokovic to look at. Of all the times to serve a 40%. To serve, or whatever his actual first serve percentage is, it's different to the one that's actually unreturned. But anyway, of all the times to miss your first serve, but that's an ace from Hurkacz.
Second serve ace,
not bad, 30-40, and that was 159 miles an hour. Actually, I think that first one was an ace as well, but they didn't update the scoreboard, so he served 2 aces. Goes out wide and that's unreturnable. Clutch serving again from Hubert Hurkacz. He's taking it back to deuce.
I just needed, because there was literally no way back then if he loses this. Not for me. I mean, it's pretty much looking pretty hard now for him anyway. But if one of those 3 points he converted, it was done.
Yeah, pretty much. And he still could. I mean, we're still in the game as he gets that first serve back into play. And Hurkacz goes long trying to volley. It's another break point chance for Djokovic. And Hurkacz is looking a little sheepish after that. So Yeah, fourth break point opportunity for Novak Djokovic, whose box is cheering him on. Is that Hurkacz's box or Djokovic's box? I think it was Djokovic's box. I think his son.
That is. Yeah.
Yeah, I think his son's there cheering him on, which is nice to see. Stefan Djokovic, famous Rafael Nadal fan. But clearly the serve does not count, and he's heading back to the baseline. So now it's going to be John telling us that Djokovic has not actually had his serve broken this tournament, which is insane.
Crazy. That is a crazy start, that.
Yeah, as Hurkacz serves up the middle, then goes up to the forehand to the Djokovic backhand, who goes for the passing. Hurkacz follow the backhand. Djokovic, great passing attempt, comes in, and falls into the net. Djokovic falls into the net, trying to get to it. And it's now deuce, and they hug at the net because it was all a little bit awkward.
What happened? Hold on.
He went for a shot and he kind of lost it, his balance, and went over. The net was in his armpit, and he kind of went down.
Yeah, but why is Hurkacz apologising as if he's done something?
I think it's just bad luck, mate type thing.
Is it because it's because the spinner has shots came back over his own side of the net?
Possibly, because Djokovic was reaching over the net, which is technically
it's illegal,
not allowed.
Yeah.
But anyway, Hurkacz serves out wide. Djokovic gets it back into play. Djokovic runs down that backhand, loops it up. Hurkacz got the overhead, puts it in play, but Djokovic tried to pick it up, can't do it. The audience is applauding, and it's advantage to Hurkacz. I think that's probably a point that Djokovic doesn't mind touching the net so much, unlike what happened in the 2013 Roland Garros semi-final against Rafael Nadal.
What happened there?
He ended up getting broken due to dropping a point due to touching the net. And that was probably one of the things that cost him the match, other than the fact he was playing Rafael Nadal on clay. So Hurkacz is now held. Hello, Max. Lovely to see you all. It's lovely to see you there. Tom is taking a quick break. So whilst he's doing that, I'm updating the score. But yeah, probably not a big fan of surf botting, are we, Isabelle? No. This is probably why we're not describing the tennis very much.
Yeah, I've never enjoyed these types of matches. When it's all just serves, I really check out.
Thank goodness we are fans now rather than 20 years ago, because that's what tennis was pretty much, from what I can gather. Men's tennis.
Yeah, pretty much. My parents talk a lot about how the Sampras era was quite dull because he was just a server, and a good one, obviously, but he would just serve through all his wins. And so when Federer came along, it was like such a breath of fresh air. So
maybe that's why everyone kind of went mad for him.
I think that's part of it, definitely, is because Sampras was, obviously Sampras was great, had a lot of great attributes, but he was a big server. No one could really compete with that. And because there was no one at the time who could really rival him, Andre maybe, definitely, but not entirely. No one could really rival him. It was just him serving his way through those wins. So yeah, it was just a change in the game, definitely, when Federer came along and was like, ground strokes.
I think Ghost is objecting to us calling Sampras dull. I will say that I think my parents liked Sampras as a person.
As a person.
Yeah, I like the way he played as well. Like, I've watched some of his matches. I quite liked. Like how you said about Novak Djokovic, right?
Yeah,
I don't like him as a person or a player, so
never mind. But I would say that Sampras, though he did have some matches that were really exciting. I think I would have liked the way he played. And I know that he had a match with Becker that was indoors that was pretty legendary in the 90s. So I would say that I think it was the style of game where it was mainly serve dominated, unless you went on clay, which was madness then.
It's
in
funny,
terms of like the players who were performing well on clay didn't perform the rest of the year, and vice versa. Women's game, on the other hand, was what you watch tennis for, because you had about 10 players who could win a slam each time, and it wasn't because of any inconsistency or anything like that. There were just that many really, really good players competing with each other.
Back in like the late
early
80s.
2000s. So we talk about the Williams sisters, Davenport, Hingis, Enan and Clijsters were around at that point. Mary Pierce, Emily Mauresmo.
Even all those people, though, I mean, it was still pretty much just the Williams sisters, wasn't it? I mean, all of those women were great and Grand Slam winners and all that, but I really think once the Williams sisters came, they ate it up, like they really didn't have many
periods
rivals.
Where they were like they had hot streaks where they were in control. But they were in control very much, like 2002, 2003. But so if you look at like 2000, 2001, there was definitely a lot of competition. Capriati was in the mix at that point. And then 2003, Enan kind of peaked and was rivaling them. So definitely like 2002, around about 2000, early 2003, for sure. But I'd say also the Williams sisters had
Sharapova as well coming in.
Sharapova came in like mid 2000s. Like they had a sort of iconicness to them that meant that they got rightly an additional level of attention. Like when they were on, they were the best. But beyond that, but the others could give them a run for their money.
I'm still rather late to women's tennis because when I was growing up and watching, it was all Serena. Just every tournament was Serena, and so I found women's tennis quite boring in that time. In the same way my parents probably felt about Sampras. I don't
agree with you there. I felt the same way in the early 2010s, where it felt like it was all Serena.
Yeah. So it took me a while to get into women's tennis, and I really I like Serena a lot. This is not me saying like, oh, I didn't like her, so I didn't watch. I was just bored because she was winning all the time. No one ever posed a threat.
I was a big fan of Azarenka because she seemed to pose a threat for a couple of years.
Yeah.
At one point. And they had some great matches, those two.
Oh, absolutely. But I don't feel like I really got into women's tennis until like, I don't know, 2015, 2016. Around there. I think I was in college when I started really paying attention because we had, a lot of new blood coming in. Naomi Osaka being, I think, the main one for me. But now I love it more probably than men's tennis.
Yeah.
Because Djokovic is still doing that, and it's boring. Obviously, this match is boring. So yeah, it took me a long time to get into women's tennis because of the Williams sisters. But like mad respect, obviously, for them.
Yeah, for sure. I get it, and I would say that I'm with you on that. I have very similar journey of I got into women's tennis probably really heavily in the last couple of years, and now I prefer the products that they produce a lot more, and probably still will even when Djokovic stops. But even when because we'll probably be in Alcaraz domination by then, right? So
it's hard to say. I mean, we've been saying for the last year that like he's going to be dominating, and I mean to a certain degree he has, but has he?
Well, not really.
Entirely, not really.
It's what we're expecting. I think Holger Rune is going to give him a run for his money. I think Yannick Sinner is going to get there.
That's the thing. I think we're going to have a real competition for dominance on the men's side once Djokovic leaves, which is probably not anytime soon.
We kind of already have it outside the slams.
Yes, definitely.
I don't think Djokovic is that bothered about winning anything that isn't a slam anymore.
No, he's not.
No. I think he's really just focused on beating Nadal and Federer's records. Like, I think that's all he cares about.
He's kind of done that already. So
yeah. Well, I think he has. I'm hoping that he won't level Federer's Wimbledon record here, because I think that's the goal he has in mind now.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's like the last shred I have for liking Federer more than Djokovic. And my one last argument against Djokovic fans is like, well, Federer has more Wimbledon titles, and I don't,
Yeah,
I
but you
can't, I don't want to
even if they
lose.
tied there, you could argue that Djokovic has had softer competition than
But
Federer. Like,
I don't know
even
that
when
that's
Federer was
true. Do
dominating
you think
Wimbledon,
that's
he
true?
had to deal with Roddick and Hewitt and
Oh,
Nadal.
Roddick, come on, he never really had to deal with Roddick. Even Roddick would say that.
Okay. Roddick, weirdly, Roddick had a very good record against him in Miami. Every time, the 3 times Roddick beat Federer, it was always in Miami, and Federer
Well, he
never
was
beat
good.
him in
He was
Miami.
good on hard court. He's great on
Yeah.
hard court.
Yeah. So
yeah, but that's my last shred of hope is that she
Roddick
doesn't
could have
level
beaten
his
Federer in 2009.
could have, but didn't. But that was his only. That was really his only chance. He had one chance to beat him, and he didn't. Okay. It wasn't like with Nadal or Djokovic where there were kind of multiple times. It was one time.
But 2004, I'd say I watched that final back, and Roddick was kind of in their first couple of sets, and then Federer took control. But I would say that my point still stands that Roddick posed more of a challenge to Federer than Berrettini, Shapovalov, or Kyrgios, or even Sinner ever did to Djokovic in the last couple of years.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, fair enough. As it's 6-5, just on the actual tennis. I know some good. Here, listen, great. So I just sat back and just let you guys go because that was great. But it's 6-5 on the tennis, and yeah. So Djokovic is leading 6-5. Hurkacz has to serve to stay in the second set, but potentially we have a second tiebreak. Is there anything that he can do different if it does go to tiebreak? Is there anything that Hurkacz can do different? And don't just say win the important points.
Maybe not miss a forehand at the net.
Yeah.
Like, let's be real there. Like, he had three set points, one on his serve, and the one on his serve, he panicked, which I don't blame him for because I've been there.
Yeah.
I think, it looks like a great serve to start off with. But yeah, I think we'll dial back in for the tie break and see how it goes.
So, Nick, thoughts then, right? You're obviously going to concede that the potential that Djokovic doesn't finish this by 11 now. This goes to a tie break. Tie break lasts about 10 minutes. Hurkacz or Djokovic takes a toilet break. Does this match go to a third set here, or do they wait?
Because
it was about 9. It was about 10:41.
If the players decide they want to have a break, they're going to stop the match.
Right, that's what they'll do.
Yeah, I think I'll just stop it rather than trying to play into the third set, because that's what they've done with they've done with matches that carried over.
Yeah.
But let's see. Oh, it's Hurkacz double faults, but it's 30-15.
I mean, there's a lot of hypotheticals to get to there, so I get what you're saying. Because
a half-hour set is definitely possible, though. Like, I think if they get the tiebreak wrapped up by 10:30,
if Djokovic wins it, if Djokovic wins the set, then they'll go for it. If Hurkacz wins it and levels it 1-0, they might stop it.
Okay.
Do you get me?
Yeah. Max has a question for you, Tom.
Max, Tom. What is that logo? It's a Brazil top.
Oh.
It's a Brazil top. I was saying earlier on to Ghost, it's one of those ones you get from the stalls in Turkey. So it's a cheapy one. But I just like the top. So it's an old Brazil retro looking top.
Right.
Isn't the Women's World Cup this year?
It is. I'm very excited for it.
Me too.
Where is it?
It's in Australia.
Wow, cool.
I'm really excited. The only American team that I support is the American soccer team, American women's soccer team.
It's going to be interesting because it's going to be between the US and England
again.
I think it's between those two teams.
Yeah. Well, where's Canada going? Because they're usually quite good. The Canadians.
They are. Yes.
Yeah.
I do love the Canadian team. I can't remember. I think St. Clair is still on that team. I don't think she's retired yet. If they still have her, they'll probably do pretty well. They went to the final last time, didn't they?
I think so. I mean, the reason why Nick's saying England because the England ladies won the Euros here last year.
I think Canada was at the final of that. I want to say.
Oh,
No, sorry. Sorry, it wouldn't have been that.
The European Championship.
I remember. Sorry, I just remember them playing England in a tournament.
I think that was 4 years ago at the World Cup.
Was that 4 years ago?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm looking up. This tells you something about the match that we've now moved on to a completely different sport.
Well, I thought of it because you were mentioning football, and yesterday, the Megan Rapinoe, who's a big star on the women's soccer team here, is retiring, and this is going to be her last World Cup.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, no.
I thought she'd already retired. When I seen this in the news, I said, did she not retire after they won the World Cup last time?
No, she didn't.
Retired.
I think someone else on the team might have.
She's going to play in this one, though, right?
She's going to play in this one.
Right.
So last World Cup, Canada got knocked out by Sweden in the round of 16.
What am I thinking of then? I know they.
I think you're thinking of USA versus America versus England.
Am I thinking of the Olympics?
Oh,
maybe I don't know.
I might be thinking of the Olympic.
I'm not doing a bunch of research on the Canadian football. I'll let you know.
This might have been another one of your dreams, Isabelle. She was dreaming that Swiatek had won Wimbledon last night. So.
Oh, that was the dream.
I woke up and thought that she had already won.
Wait, who won Wimbledon? Iga won Wimbledon.
Yeah, I dreamt that last night.
Please come true. Although I'm going to be in an awkward position because I'm actually on a stag do during the women's final.
Right.
I've got to try and find somewhere I can watch it.
I believe you would do that, Nick.
Where are you? Tell me the stag do's in Poland.
No, it's in Sheffield. If the stag do was in Poland and Iga was in the final, I would be loving it. Although I wish I could speak Polish.
Can you not convince the guy somehow?
I reckon I could. He knows I'm a mega tennis fan.
Right.
Maybe you could try to get them all into it and explain the scoring.
Explain the scoring.
I mean, the same group of people I was hanging out with when Emma Raducanu won the US Open, and I kind of dragged them on to watch it.
Oh, brilliant! And they did it.
Yeah, we all enjoyed it, and obviously because Emma won.
Was there a pub? Because that's what I find. Like people don't go to a pub to watch tennis.
No, it wasn't a pub. We just got a stream on in where we were staying, like a Airbnb type
or something. Yeah, right, got you.
Yeah,
we're
into a tiebreak, by the way.
Yeah,
yes,
sorry.
we are at a tiebreak. Sorry,
we're talking about the Canadian walk and next stag do. So we're at what we at in the tiebreak? 1-0 Djokovic, right? Okay.
Yeah, unreturnable serve for ace from Hurkacz. Oh wait, no, maybe not. I've got the sound off. It's hard to tell.
There is a bar on the west side of Los Angeles. I want to say it's called Love All, and it's a tennis themed sports bar.
Does it show tennis?
It does. I've never been to it because I don't live anywhere near it, and I'm not going to drive all the way there to go to it.
Not for that.
No. But there is one tennis sports bar in.
And is it busy? Do you know if it's busy? Because I think that's a great idea, but like
I think I don't think they exclusively show tennis when there are other things on when tennis is off. But when there's a tennis match on or a tournament, they are showing that, and the whole thing is tennis themed, and like the waitresses wear tennis dresses and all that stuff. I should go at some point, but
take some photos for us.
Yeah. But it's so far from me that I'm like, I'm not going to do that.
Unreturnable stuff from Hurkacz. He's 1-2 down in the tiebreak mini break. Djokovic serving at 2-1.
Okay, so he is 2-1 down. Yeah, Djokovic. So Djokovic is right. You've got. I'm just trying to catch up with what you were saying there. Too busy thinking about the Canadian women's football team.
That reminds me of a joke I made a very long time ago, but I'm not going to about it at work that caused some people to misunderstand what I was talking about. But
right, okay, I'm now intrigued.
I'll tell you off there.
Okay.
But Hurkacz has hit a beautiful backhand passing shot to get it back to parity, 2-2.
Oh, what a shot! What a shot that is. That'll be his shot of the match.
Yeah, we're pleased with that.
He needs this one. He needs to. I mean, I'm stating the obvious, but I think it'd be good for the match if he can claim this one. I think they'll call it if he does manage to pull this one.
Oh, for sure. Unreturnable serve from Djokovic, by the way, for 3-2.
Okay.
Nick, do you think there's been a match of the tournament so far?
Oh gosh, don't make me pick one.
I asked because someone on in the comments earlier was saying that the Svitolina Azarenka match was the match of the tournament so far. So I was wondering if you had any thoughts.
It's up there. But like the Iga Bencic match was good. Fokina Runa, Tsitsipas Murray. Oh gosh,
did you see Rublev this morning?
Rublev, yeah.
Bublik
was brilliant. So yeah, I can't
I like Bublik. He's a good
too
guy.
Too many to pick from.
It's been a good Wimbledon.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's what I said. I thought Monday, Tuesday. I thought Monday was a bit blah. I thought everybody who was meant to win won. It wasn't really interesting going, and I was just like, meh.
Henning Goff happened on Monday though. That was another contender.
Was that Monday or Tuesday?
Monday.
All right. Okay. Fair enough. Okay. I watched that. In fact, did I not do that for this, or I was meant to do this? Anyway. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, obviously you had the rain breaks, and I'm like, this is a wee bit kind of dying in its bum a bit. And then obviously since Thursday, it's just exploded, and there's been so many talking points, so many twists and turns. What about maybe not your match of the event, but both of you, and Isabelle, you can maybe go first. If you like, what about your moment of the tournament? That's a bit different. You're going to say Svitolina there, aren't you?
I mean, that was definitely one of them. There were some. Trying to remember, I was watching. What match was I watching where I was like super psyched? I can't even remember now.
There was a lot of matches. Like, what day was it?
I don't even remember.
Well, Isabelle's thinking about that, Nick. What about you then? Well, Isabelle's having a think. What about you? What's your moment?
Iga Swiatek saving match points.
Right, okay.
Iga Swiatek saving match points with 2 forehand winners.
Considering I know how big an Iga fan you are, I should have thought that before I asked the question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, on a personal level, it's that. I'd say maybe if I want to go a bit more neutral, Mirra Andreeva winning.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that was something for me. She was 4-1 down in that second set to Potapova.
Such a great comeback.
Yeah, really good. I mean, I think Potapova will be disappointed by the way she ended that match. She was hitting the ball all right. She just couldn't find the actual like tennis box. Do you know what I mean? She just kept hitting the net or wide. But yeah, well played.
I'm gonna pick 2. For one is Svitolina today because that was awesome. And the other is probably, no offense, guys, is probably Eubanks beating Norrie.
No offense. That was a good result.
I was really psyched.
Actually, Eubanks has got a great single-handed backhand, big hand.
Is it a one-hander?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's got a one-hander.
Okay.
That's you too.
I thought he did. Every time I see him, I say, "Oh, beautiful backhand winner on the single-hander."
I mean, I've seen him do some one-handed slices, but I thought he had a two-handed backhand.
Maybe I'm not paying close enough attention.
Maybe I'm not paying close enough attention. We'll find out tomorrow.
Hurkacz has got a mini break for 5-4, and he's got 2 serves to put this away.
But he had that the last one, didn't he? Pretty much. He was in a better position the last time.
I would say worse because 2 of them were on Djokovic's.
Okay, fair enough.
But it's just gone over to 10:30 on the clock on the screen. We're obviously a minute behind. Hurkacz serves wide up the tee, trying to give himself a couple of set points. And
what you chuckle on that, Isabelle?
Backhand into the net.
Just the point I just saw was like you just handed that, in my opinion, to Djokovic.
A little bit, yeah.
Like you had a whole, I don't know what point you're on, but he had
Hurkacz
had the whole open court, and he was like, "I'm gonna hit this cross court right to Djokovic."
Yeah, no, that was definitely a tight shot choice, and then he put that backhand to the net. Unreturned. Oh no, Djokovic somehow gets that return back in. Hurkacz is trying to finish at the net, scoops it up. Djokovic comes in, passes him, backhand winner. Djokovic has got a set point on his serve.
That's the point I'm talking about.
Oh, it's that one. Okay.
That one,
Oh, is that how far ahead you are?
Good grief.
Okay, so we're on
Okay, so Djokovic is
6-5 Djokovic.
Djokovic's set point. I mean, do you want to commentate on that one, Isabelle?
You're miles ahead. You're miles
Okay.
ahead.
All right.
All right.
It's like looking into the future. You already know what's happened, and we don't.
It's like you're in another time zone. Oh wait.
Except you're behind us.
Yeah, I'm behind and ahead of you at the same time.
Yeah.
Wibbly wobbly, timey wimey. Djokovic serves. I do apologize to most people who did not get that reference. Into the net. To the 5 people watching who probably did not get that reference. And he's got a second serve to try and take a 2-sets-love lead against Hubert Hurkacz and continue his perfect.
I don't want to predict what's going to happen because Isabelle will give it away, but I think he'll do this. Yeah.
I'm not watching Isabelle.
I know what just happened, and I'm not going to say anything.
The forehand of Hurkacz. Djokovic goes cross court. Hurkacz goes back behind. Djokovic slides into it. Hurkacz has got the overhead, puts it into court. Djokovic goes cross court on the forehand. Forehand Hurkacz, cross court. Djokovic forehand, backhand Hurkacz, backhand Djokovic. So rally's just keeping going.
Wow.
Djokovic changes direction up the line. Forehand Hurkacz, backhand Djokovic, backhand Hurkacz up the line. This is ridiculous. Forehand Djokovic. This is rally slice. Djokovic now changing the pace up, which is a Hurkacz forehand. Changes the backhand of Hurkacz, just clearing that. Djokovic lifts it up, and it's over the baseline, and it's 6-all in the tiebreak.
Now this match has come to life.
Djokovic in a rally. How did that happen?
I have no idea how he did that. That was just luck, I think.
24 shots, that rally.
This match
And I
has
got
just come
lost
to
a couple
life.
of times trying to commentate on that.
Yeah, you did a grand job, Nick. Got to say.
Yeah, you're great. You remind me of like those who commentate like
horse racing.
Horse racing, yes, exactly.
What?
Like when you go to what we call a bookies over here, Isabelle. You go to bookies and you hear the horse racing on the telly. That's where your career lies. That was really good.
Well, if I get fired, then I'll just apply to it for a job there.
There you go.
So we're on what 6-all. Some rally this match coming into a bit of life here.
For sure. I mean, it was 6-all in the last tiebreak. So yeah, definitely as much as we're saying the match is like dull to watch in terms of like lack of rallies and very serve dominated, I will say that it's interesting in that how close it is and how well these guys have been holding serve. Like if it was anyone else, this would be a really, really good match, right?
Yeah.
It's just because we're confident Djokovic is going to win. As Hurkacz tries to go for the passing shot, puts it into the net. He's frustrated with that. Djokovic now has 7-6 on the Hurkacz serve. But yeah, if it was anyone other than Novak Djokovic playing, we'd probably be going, oh, who's going to win? It feels really tight. And we're sitting here going, yeah, but Djokovic is going to get this, right? Isabelle's got a fun look on her face.
Well, it's set point to Djokovic, and just an interesting point. And I don't know why Isabelle's got that chat, but they did go to Jerry Armstrong, the tournament referee, and I wonder if the commentators are saying something like, that they'll call it after this set no matter what happens. I don't know. I just saw Jerry Armstrong
on past 10:30.
Is that who they're showing? I didn't know who that was.
Yeah, he's the match referee. He decides.
Djokovic has put Hurkacz put the forehand in the tram lines. Djokovic has got it. I forgot they swapped sides.
So do you think it was
love?
Oh wow! Right. Okay. So what happens now then? Are we playing?
Yeah, I think they're calling it because he's on the court now, the ref, and they're packing up. So yeah.
Okay. Oh, there he is.
They're calling it 2 sets to Djokovic, and they're all going to bed.
Yeah.
Well, we should do the same. Well, I will do the same. Isabelle, you're about 10 in the morning or something.
No, it's about 2 in the afternoon.
Okay. Isabelle probably has to go to work or something.
No, I'm actually unemployed right now, so good thing I just moved to a new house. No, I'm gonna do more unpacking today.
And remember to get those Wimbledon tickets on the wall in a frame.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I'm gonna pull those out. Yeah.
Good call. Well, This is going to be fun. Well, in which case, yeah, we better wrap it up because last ball drops is on the way.
So it's Vanch. Is it Vanch and Damien?
Vanch and Damien, the dream team.
Okay.
From the Eager and Carlos podcast, which if you haven't listened to it yet, you should check out. Thanks for coming on, Tom and Isabelle.
No, thanks for starting it, Nick, because we were a bit behind after doing the previous stream. So it's been a good laugh, a good chat, and sometimes not always about tennis. So that's what
Sometimes we talk about the Canadian women's soccer team.
we do.
This is where Isabelle and I now start a women's soccer podcast.
Yes, there we go. That's amazing. I'll subscribe. Right, guys, thanks very much.
All right. Cheers, everyone.
See you later.
Take
Bye-bye.
care.